Greetings, guys. Today on BSTSTech, we're doing something a little different. And as you can see, we're in the room from a different angle. And the reason being is because today, we've been screwing around all afternoon and we had a little bit of fun. So last week we were talking about languages, our favorite languages, some of the things that we're doing and whatnot. Yesterday, I came up with the bird brain idea of creating programs in each language that we talked about last week, and then having it sort a randomly generated array and see which one was faster. So here we have our 4 candidates and a batch script that runs them. So we've got C++, Python, Ruby, and C#.
Not in that order because I totally botched that, but that's okay.
It's not important. So just to go through it, you run us through the batch file because you know that better than I do.
Okay, so the batch file is just pretty simple. We have a line that compiles the C# program, a line that compiles the C++ program, then we just hide that output. Then we ask for a size that the user can input, and that's how we're going to tell it, you know, do we want to sort 1,000 items, 50 million, you know, whatever. We've wasted a lot of time today, but it was a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. So as you guys know from what we were talking about last week, C and C++ are generally regarded as the fastest languages. They're the lowest level, high-level languages, which is a really weird thing to think about. But as I was telling Tyler earlier this afternoon, you've got assembly, and assembly runs based on the particular platform or architecture that you're on. So if you're on ARM or if you're on x86 or anything that predated those, like 486 and 386 and all sorts of older things, you wrote everything in assembly specifically for that machine. Effectively. So it'd be like if I wrote code that only ran on this and not on any other MacBook, not on any other machine, it only worked here. You would basically have to do that, which is really annoying. So C and C++ were the first ones that kind of did a cross-compatibility thing with hardware. So they're generally regarded as the best, and they're used in gaming engines and all sorts of other fun stuff. Yeah.
Another thing I want to mention about the batch file.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I forgot.
So we're using a application that he found online called ptime to time these programs and the scripts.
Time their execution.
And you can see that at the ptime, and then we have the, well, as far as like this A,
we didn't output it properly. So with GCC and G++, if you don't give it a name and you don't tell it, I want the finished product or executable to be of a certain name, it just outputs it to a.exe in Windows and a.out in Unix. So that's where the A comes from. It's literally the compiled binary, but I was lazy and we didn't fix it up top. Which is totally your fault.
Well, you know.
Just saying.
We already wasted enough time on this.
Yeah, we've literally been screwing around with this for like 3 hours. It's been fun.
So
that's pretty much it with those. Do you want to piece through the actual programs and kind of like show them the different links?
We could, yeah, I guess. So what we tried to do is make these programs as similar as possible
and as lean as possible.
Yes.
So before with the C++ one, I had done quicksort, but I had done it a very simplistic way. So it was massive amounts of code. What was it, like 100 lines at least?
It was a bunch, like 5 or 6 methods.
It was a lot. It was really big, and we've gotten it really small at this point, which is great. But as you can see, it's pretty simple. It's using a library called Algorithm. Never seen it before, never heard of it, but it works, and it works a lot faster. It was cutting our times by about a third when we made that switch. And the C#.
So C# is pretty much the same. It just creates a random number generator, gets the input or gets the size from the batch file, and then goes through and populates the array and then sorts it.
Now, one of the things we were talking about last time was the amount of time it takes to write code. Now, I know you wrote this in originally, and then we made a lot of dorky with it, but you originally made this in the Visual Studio.
Right.
And so for that original thing, which had a defined size array and everything, how long did that take you to do? Like 10 minutes?
Well, I'm gonna lie and say it took 10 minutes. But see, actually, I accidentally found this pre-written.
Yeah.
And just copy pasted, so it took about 10 seconds.
Well, I mean,
but
if you had to piece through and do that yourself,
yeah, I mean,
to actually look it up and what
I could do this in Notepad++ in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So with your familiarity with the language, there's not too much in this that you would have to look up other than like the random generation.
Right.
Okay. With the Python, that was an overloading nightmare for me because I'm not a Python developer. I know enough of it in it to be dangerous, but it took me a little while, mostly because of my own stupidity. If you look at the end of array.append, I forgot to put a second parentheses at the end of that line to close off it, and it was not happy with me about that. So, yay. Yeah. Thank you for highlighting my stupidity. Now with the Ruby one, it obviously wins the conciseness award because it is 5 stinking lines. 3 of them are only required to generate the random numbers in the array, and I can make it shorter if I wanted to, and sort it. So just saying, that took me less than a minute, and that's including looking up the random method call. So that was pretty easy. But now, I guess we'll run through on a couple of tests.
Well, first, before we do that, I want to show you guys the task manager.
Let's just leave that up for kicks and giggles.
Okay, where do we want to leave it at?
Over on the... Yeah, that looks fun.
Yeah, because we'll be right here. So we are using a 6700K at 4 gigahertz.
Because he doesn't overclock.
I have no need to overclock.
Oh, yeah. Especially not for this.
Yeah.
But he does have 16 gigs of RAM, and what's that RAM running at? Just for kicks and giggles? Since how RAM apparently is very important nowadays.
I don't know.
Okay.
But this isn't Ryzen, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I guess before we actually get into the results, I know you guys are probably getting bored. It's interesting. We've ran these tests quite a few times, trying to just make sure everything's working, and we were blown away. Now,
I'm a little bitter. But
I'm very happy about it.
Yeah,
so, the initial thinking, you may have said this.
a little bit. But the initial thinking is that C++ should be the fastest. C#, as much as I'm not happy about it, should come in second. And then Python or Ruby, it really doesn't matter which one. Because technically both of them are implemented on top of C, and it's just, it's a matter of implementation at that point. But...
Well, so that's our hypothesis. Our false hypothesis.
Well, you just did too much foreshadowing there.
I know, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So let's run, what is it? Run scripts.
Whoa. Without an O.
Yeah. So
10?
10? Okay.
10. And it does exactly what we thought. And Ruby is slower than snot. Now keep in mind this is in milliseconds. So literally C++ is 17 milliseconds to sort 10. C# is 23 milliseconds. And then Python is 43 milliseconds. And Ruby is 67 milliseconds. Very, very slow.
Not too shabby or not too unexpected, I guess would be the word.
Well, I mean, we're on a fast machine. It should be fine. Now, what we need to do is get this running consecutively. You need to learn the threading in Bash. Or Batch.
Oh, gosh.
That might be a little too much fun.
I don't know if it can do that.
Sure. Let me on. doing
What
that.
I could have done is wrote a C# application that would actually do that.
Shut up, I hate
Okay. Anyway. Okay, so let's run it again.
200.
100? Okay.
Hey! Ruby got a good one!
But look at C#.
Shut up. Okay, so here's the fun thing. Because they're random, sometimes we get a great bunch and sometimes we don't. We have yet to see all day, I don't think we've ever seen C++ beat by Ruby or Python. And in this case, both of them did it. So it was just bad.
So let's just run it again,
Yeah.
just to verify.
And that's more
Oh,
than we
wow.
expected.
Yeah. Okay.
Ruby's not having a good day on that one.
But, so the results are still fairly consistent. I mean,
Exactly what we expect.
okay. So let's run it again. 1,000?
Sure. And again, so they're not really getting longer, which this tells us, obviously by process of elimination and whatnot, that these smaller sets really don't matter. Like, it's falling in exactly how we would expect on the smaller sets. So let's go ahead and have some fun. Let's up it to 100,000.
100,000.
See if you can.
1, 2,
no,
3.
one more. No,
That's-
no.
Oh,
Up.
yeah.
Now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's 100,000.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm trusting you.
Now we're getting interesting.
We need to run that again.
Really? I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting, but I want to make sure.
Okay. So
Just say it.
100,000 has 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Uh-huh. Okay, now C#'s starting to win. I didn't think it was this.
But it's just by 2 milliseconds.
It is about 2 milliseconds, but that's still really odd. And then, for any of you that likes Python, I'm sorry, it sucks at this task. It is literally over twice as slow. Like, it is just painfully slow compared to everything else. So let's go ahead and up it to a million.
A million. So that's just 1 extra 0.
Script.
Ah, yeah. Sorry, that's annoying. And I wrote it.
Now make sure it's right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're a million.
Yeah, we're at a million.
And this is where we started the day at. Okay.
This was,
And he was very upset.
What?
And I was very happy because if you remember
Just
from the
run
last
it.
video, okay. If you remember from the last video, I'm the C# guy. And it's starting to look even better.
See, now where we started this before was with using quicksort, and it's the dummy version of quicksort. And C# was beating C++ by a lot more. At this point, there was an average of, 50 seconds shaved off when we switched
50 milliseconds.
Yeah, 50 milliseconds shaved off when we switched to this form of doing the C++ program. So before, it was literally about 2:30. So wait a minute, it was 1:30 for C#, 2:30 for C++, and then 3:30 for Python. Which I was expecting there to be a little inversion in there somewhere, but I'm not going to tell you where. Dang it.
Okay, so now let's make him mad again. What, 50 million?
Yeah. This actually gets really fun for me. Not because Ruby's winning.
Let's see, that's 5 million, so that's 50 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've got somebody that kind of craps out here. But
Not going to tell you who. So C++.
it'll eventually get there.
Oh yeah, they're not instantaneous anymore.
So,
That only took
almost
8
9
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah, 9 seconds. Not bad. Not bad. Because think about it. This is 50 million randomly generated. So it's generating 50 million random numbers. Then it's sorting 50 million random numbers. And for a human to do that is ridiculous. So Ruby took a little bit around double, which is what it's been doing lately for the difference between Ruby and C++.
I think it's also important to note that the range of the numbers, the random numbers that are being generated, are between 1 and whatever the max size that we give it.
Yes. And it is handling duplicates. We did not check to see if it was doing like FIFO or anything, but at the same time, it is handling duplicates in all of this, so it does add complexity. Well, it's having to figure out something to do with duplicates. Like, it's not crashing the second it sees a duplicate.
Oh, that's true.
Is kind of the point I was making.
So Python is still going?
Yeah. And for anyone out there that is a Python person, please talk to me about this, because holy crap. Just like, what? And again, this may be because Python is more designed for other things, but this is what I almost alluded to. So it literally craps out. It gets a...
Now, it could be... Oh yeah, C Sharp's already done. Half the time of C++.
Yeah... I don't know how that happens. This is literally one of those moments where, to me, it's like Microsoft screwed up and started doing things right. I don't understand.
I do want to make one comment about the Python failing, though.
Yeah.
That is more likely because Python, like the size of integers in Python, is different than the size of integers in the other.
Maybe, but at the same time, why would it go for a full minute before it gets to something big enough to crash it? Like, because every time we've run it on this size, it dies at around the same time. Like, there's no difference in that. It always just barely passes the 60-second mark and then craps the bed.
Well, okay,
It's
so
not a memory
there's,
thing.
yeah, there's no spike there.
No, but like, okay, so with C++, it's a standard integer has what, 4 or 8 bits to hold the number in, and so because it only has so many bits, that basically gives it a default number of values that it can store.
Right.
So if Python's doing the exact same thing, it shouldn't have a problem before C++ does, because both of them are built on C.
Well, it depends on what the...
I mean, they could have put an arbitrary thing in there, but that just seems kind of dumb to me.
But what if the... crap, what do you call those? Like int and string?
Primitives?
Yes.
Variables?
If the primitive is defined...
Yeah, as something smaller than what it's possible.
in, you know, if it's defined as a, let's say, 32-bit integer in C++ and C Sharp and Ruby, but it's defined as
16 in Python, then yeah, it would have an artificial problem.
I wonder.
What? Are you going to look it up?
No.
Oh,
Where did it go?
I don't know. It didn't work. He's pulling up a calculator and failing. This is why Windows sucks.
Okay, so programmer.
Wow, that's cool.
So we're at 50 million, right? So let's do 40 million.
You can't do that math any easier.
That's 40 million, right?
Yeah.
So
What are you asking me for?
where's the binary?
It's right above where you're at. Down, down. There you go. That's big.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 26 bits.
So there's no, there's no way. Unless it's got a 24-bit limitation, that would be stupid to stick in when 3 other languages don't have it. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
but at any rate,
yeah.
Python craps the bed. That's all that matters. It's funny. But for anyone that is a Python developer, let us know, because... And of course, this is not an end-all be-all, and I'm kind of jumping the gun on the conclusion, but it does kind of make me wonder, if something as simple as sorting is this kind of ridiculous nature in Python, I don't want to use it. I mean, to me, it's more complicated than Ruby, so I'm not getting a simplicity bonus in actually writing it. It does have the ability to compile into bytecode, so that I can ship executables, but I'm doing a scripting language, so who cares? But if the scripts that I'm running are literally 4 times slower than my direct competitor,
Right.
and that's with it. That's before it craps the bed, so it doesn't even finish. Like you can see from where it's saying array.append, it's still generating new values. So it's not even done with the 50 million.
Right.
So I don't know. You want to go to a bigger number?
Yes, but before we do that, I'm just gonna.
Oh, you're gonna kill it.
Well, we know Python's not gonna work.
Yeah, but it's so much fun to watch it break.
Yeah, but it takes so long to break.
This part is actually new. We have not done anything beyond 50 million. Let's hope Tyler can count.
What do we want to do? We could do 100 million.
Let's go to a billion. Let's
Oh,
break
God.
the bank. Let's see what happens.
That's 9 zeros, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
Well, I mean, if we were letting Python do it, it would be tomorrow.
Let's give it a shot.
Please don't crash my computer. Bring back the task manager.
I'm working
Yeah,
on it.
well, you're slow. I want to see it. I want to see
Okay.
it break.
So we're getting some computations there.
Yeah, and it's actually spreading across multiple cores, which we did not put any threading in this. So any threading it's actually doing is simply because of the way the library built it. Wow, look at the RAM. It went from 6 point something to 9.6. Oh, a billion numbers is a lot.
And I think it's also important to note that these, I guess I probably don't need to say it, but just for clarity.
For time. We got a minute.
I mean, C++ is not done yet. So. But obviously, these are not running at the same time. We're running one, then running the other, then running the other, and then running the other.
I wish they were consecutive, but we didn't want to do that. And his first inkling was, I'll make a C# one. It's like, no, stop rubbing it in.
Okay, we could do it in batch, but what we'd have to do is just have 4 different batch windows and just run them all at the same time. You just run one program each one.
Yeah, but then you'd have leverage options where the CPU would be used by multiple programs, and so depending on how the instruction set's being fed into each individual core, it may blow a cork or one. C# may be like, I get CPU priority. Yeah, you never know. And maybe that's what's going on now. Maybe you've gone in and bumped up the priority of the C#. What is it, .NET Framework 4.01 or something, to a higher priority than the system? Or maybe because it's built into the system it has highest priority. I don't know. I'm just saying. There's no reason for it to be beating out C++.
But it is.
Well, I don't know. It's
Hey,
Barnacles,
you know about this stuff.
all I'm going to say is if C++ craps the bed, it's going to be so funny.
Well,
because at that point we can just throw it in.
I was
Forget it.
helping somebody debug a program the other night, and he was having to create an array of 1 billion integers.
Really? So it is possible.
Well, that's the thing. He had to go through and, as it was, it didn't work because it was some memory allocation problems with that amount of data. So he had to use a pointer instead.
Well, ours is running with a pointer, so we're
Yours
okay.
is. I don't think C# has pointers.
Well, if it's like Java, which it stole itself from, then everything's a pointer. You just don't have to think about the difference. That's why everybody likes Java, because it has pointers, because everything is a pointer. And because everything in the language is a pointer, no one really has to care about the difference between non-pointers.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's dumb. Wow. But I mean, look at your CPU.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's done!
193 seconds. Oh
Pull
God.
your calculator back. That's 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Or 14, depending on how you want to look at that.
Let me get out of programmer mode.
And 193 divided by 60. Yeah. Oh, 321. What? Oh. What? That's not right.
Would it be? It wouldn't be 60. It'd be 1,000, wouldn't it?
When? Oh, yeah. No. No. Because it's 193 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah. Duh.
So it is 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But that...
3 minutes?
Oh,
21
it's
seconds.
a decimal, not 21 seconds. It's 0.21 percent of a minute. Yeah. Wow. Ruby is using so much more RAM.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
And it crapped the bed.
And then we have this. So I'm just going to close that.
Oh, yours already broke. Just immediately started, was like, I'm done!
Well, what we learned from that is that C++... Are you happy? Are you happy? Okay.
That's correct.
Now, wait a minute. Is the reason that the C# program ran out of memory is because Ruby hogged it all?
No, Ruby was done. Look at that graph. Go look at it. Oh, you can't go back in time. Crap.
Okay.
You gonna run it again?
No. Wait,
Oh.
I don't want to do that. I'm just going to do that. So, what was that called? CS program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just immediately crap the bed.
Okay.
It's done. Out of memory.
So let's do something.
Oh,
Let's do. We did 50 million. Let's do 500 million.
Oh, come on. That's half of a billion.
Well, yeah, but obviously 1 billion is too much for most of it.
For us. Alright, go for it.
Is that 50? Is that 500 million?
You're
Okay.
fine. It's 500 mil. Come on to me. Are your windows rolled up?
Was that thunder?
I don't know.
I thought it was somebody being stupid outside.
Yeah, okay. Go back to Task Manager.
Memory's fine. CPU, yeah, not too bad.
I don't like your implication that Ruby hogged all the RAM so C# couldn't use it after the fact. It does trash collection. You little butt.
I had to do something.
Well, yeah, yours immediately crapped the bed. Mine at least gave it a shot. It said, I know what 5 billion is. I may not know what to do with that number, but I know what it is.
It would take like 3 variable changes to make that work.
No,
Just have to save it as a double instead of an int. It's a data type issue.
Well, yeah, but
It's the same thing that
this is
Python
more
was on
fun. You're not gonna lie, this is more fun. And in 2 minutes, we will be done. Well, no, it took 3 minutes last time.
That was half, so it should be a minute and a half.
Should be. Unless it gets a super awful combination. Like it did that first time we ran it with 1,000. When it literally lost everything. The most optimal language we know how to type with. No. Oh, yep, minute and a half. It's fine. Please don't crap the bed. Please don't crap the bed. Please don't crap the bed.
I hope it does.
No.
Actually, I don't care if it does, but if mine does, then I want his.
So we should have picked yours first. And actually, just so that you guys know, we did the ordering based on age. And so C++ is the oldest language as far as when it was invented. Ruby was invented around 95-ish. And then Python, we're assuming, is older than C#, just because I don't know and didn't want to fact check. But yeah, there is a rhyme kind of to our reason. It doesn't make sense.
We did it to how old we thought the languages are.
That's basically the same as admitting stupidity, right?
No, because I did not say that I am stupid.
Well, I crapped the bed.
Oh gosh, come on.
See, at this point, it's not even a matter of who's faster, it's a matter of who can finish. Who can get it done?
Giggity.
Yeah, dude. Oh, Lord have mercy, we have too much fun with this. And we've been talking for a half hour.
Now, how much is it going to beat C++ by? It's not going to crap itself, or it would have already done it.
Well, maybe that's not real wood. It's plywood. Doesn't count. Bye. No, that's not even wood. That's plated steel.
Oh! Half the time.
No.
Almost half the time.
No. It's closer to 2/3 the time. Do your math.
Huh?
A minute and a half to a minute. Which one's closer? What percentage is that closer to? 66 or 50?
95 divided by 3.
2 is 47. Is that closer to 47 or 60? I'm right. But hey, it's still faster and it didn't crap the bed. Wait a minute. So I'm just now actually reading the fact of what it got to. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 zeros. So it's in the hundred of millions that it lost itself. That's not bad. It's totally pointless, but it's not bad. So at the end of the day, we'll do a little recap.
What have we learned?
I hate you. And yes,
I already knew that.
So what we learned at the end of the day is that C#, for some ungodly reason, in this ridiculous sorting task, is better at large data sets than every other language. But at the same time, it also does throw up some glaring ideas to think about. So again, we're going to bring back the idea that it doesn't matter what tool you use. If you need a hammer, use a hammer. If you need a screwdriver, use a screwdriver. Likewise.
I'm sorry.
Unless what?
I had to make a Futurama reference. Unless you're Fry, then if you need a hammer, use a nail. Do you remember that episode?
A little bit. You'll remind me later.
Okay.
Or you can do it now, I don't care.
Who dares to be a millionaire?
That was just manually unhelpful.
What tool is used to hammer a nail?
A hammer?
He chose a nail. You don't remember that?
No.
Anyway, what did we learn?
Okay, so moving on from that. So, you're fine. Like I was saying, if you need a hammer, get a hammer. If you need a screwdriver, get a screwdriver. We're sitting here comparing our tool belts. And that's effectively what this amounts up to. Likewise with the argument of Windows versus Mac or Linux and all that other fun stuff, it's a matter of what you get done. So if you are more productive, if your job entails using a particular language, obviously use that language. Learn it to its fullest. Be as productive on that language as possible. But at the same time, like with us, we have time to kill and we're not actually paid to do this kind of thing. So we're... Yeah, that is the hope. So we're just shooting the breeze, having fun, and seeing how what we like compares. And obviously, for some random reason, what Tyler likes compares the best.
He's heartbroken. Like whenever we first found this out earlier today, oh my gosh!
I just cannot tell you how confused I am. It really makes no sense. Like I have had individuals with doctorates tell me that C#, while it is, for all quintessential purposes, a clone of Java, it is not as efficient as Java, and Java is not as efficient as C and C++. Like, there is a very serious graph here that, shall we say, titans in the industry seem to believe. And so if this sorting algorithm actually does lay up across the rest of the things the application is capable of, holy crap, Microsoft went to bed and did something great. I mean, that's basically what that's up to. They made a language that, for all intents and purposes, is insanely, stupidly specialized to a single operating system, but performs better than literally everything out there. Like, C is the basis of, Unreal Engine and all of these other gaming engines that run, the games that we get. And the idea of them being built in C is simply because that is the very well-held idea that C gives you the best efficiency. It is the most well-rounded. It does everything faster and allows you to control things at a minutiae level that nothing else is capable of. And I keep looking at your system, I don't know why. But for whatever reason, C#, it just seems to be winning. Now, of course, this is one test, and it's a stupid test. But it's winning! Like, holy cow! Everything else more or less lined up in a way that I thought. Like, I didn't expect Python or Ruby necessarily to have the disparaging differences that they did, but holy crap, C# was winning!
And so it's basically C# is the fastest, C++ is twice as slow, Ruby is twice as slow as C++, and then Python just went to sleep.
Yeah, it basically decided to go to dinner and come back later, I don't know. Although I will say, Ruby was the fastest one to write it in.
Off topic, but you mentioned Unreal Engine.
Yeah.
I haven't fact checked this, but I heard that it's basically just a Visual Studio solution. Like
Really?
It was written in Visual Studio.
See, I wouldn't be surprised about that part. It being written in Visual Studio. I do find that a little interesting, actually, because Visual Studio technically can push out cross-platform applications, but generally speaking doesn't. Unless you make a makefile that does it. Have you looked at the feed in a makefile to it? Okay, well. It's apparently very common. Completely off topic, but kind of on topic. So with IDEs, apparently, they understand and they knowingly build very simple compilation scripts to actually be able to run and do everything that, say you would want to do.
Right.
But when you get to bigger things, so like Microsoft uses its Visual Studio to build Windows and like to do updates and everything to it. But what they do is they've got like these thousands of lines of code that make up a single makefile, and they'll just point Visual Studio at the makefile and say, all right, do it. Because what it does is it basically breaks down and starts doing the dependency tree. And Barclays talked about this a couple of weeks ago in one of his videos, to where basically even if you get the source code of Windows, it's so complicated to compile because of all the different pieces. You basically need like a quadruple doctorate to figure it out yourself.
Oh my God.
Because it's just so stupidly layered. Like, nobody's going to figure that out unless they are literally getting paid to do so, and they have a very smart team. Because it's just years of, well, we've got these hunks of code, so we're going to change the hunk of codes, but there's no reason to change the makefile as long as the names are still the same. So it's just, we'll tack on the new features in the makefile.
Oh, man.
I'm assuming that's what they're doing. I don't know, but
surely
it would
not.
make sense.
Now, that was my keyboard. With Windows 10,
Yes.
was that not completely rewritten from the ground up?
Maybe. I am on good authority in saying that things like XP, Vista 7, more or less they would just comment out, block out code that wasn't necessary, and just leave it in there as dead code. Now, I can't honestly say that Microsoft has changed enough to stop that practice. Maybe they have. Probably they haven't. But I don't know. But yeah, so they're currently rolling out updates. They're literally wiping your entire system.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's what the Creator Update does. Like, when you install the Creator update, it calls it an update. but it's literally the same as the jump between 7 to 8 or 7 to 10 or 8 to 10 or whatever. Like, it's installing a new operating system under the hood for you.
Okay, so it's not like getting rid of your data.
No, but in a lot of ways it wipes you out to a brand new state. So your programs may or may not still be there. You may have to reinstall some of them. But as far as your user account, most of that data will still be there because they'll recreate it. But yeah. Yeah. That's why I run server on my desktop at home. Because I don't have to deal with this crap. It's great.
I can't afford server.
I got it for free.
Yeah. I don't have that luxury. How'd you get it for free?
Student. Students on campus get all sorts of software for free if they go to eHub. And actually, whatever DreamSpark has turned itself into, I don't know what Microsoft renamed it to, but you may be able to get something through that.
That's right.
Not Windows again.
So I guess that's our cue.
Bye.
I'll go ahead and cut us out.
Yeah.
Sorry. No problem.
Alright guys, well, let me just scoot over and get this in here. I hope his car gets wet. No, not really. So, I hope you guys thought this was interesting. Like I said, this is just something we spent way too much time on. And thought it was pretty cool. So, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you liked it, if you didn't, don't. Whatever. I don't care. Alright, we'll see you guys next time.